Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I'm Joel Griffin, Director of Marketing for North America at ISS, and I will be your moderator for today's program. With more than a quarter century of experience in developing highly specialized video surveillance software, ISS is one of the leading global pioneers and developers of AI-powered video analytics. In today's program, we're going to provide you with an in-depth overview of who ISS is as a company, along with the various benefits that our AI-driven solutions deliver for security and safety applications, as well as business operations. We'll also discuss what separates us from the rest of the industry in this rapidly evolving space of AI and analytics, and how we're enabling organizations to move from a reactive to a proactive security posture. Today's webinar will be broken down into several parts. Following a quick introduction of today's speakers, we will discuss the history of ISS and how we define video intelligence. That will be followed by an overview of the SecureOS video intelligence platform, along with the various analytic modules and purpose-built hardware and software solutions that we offer. Finally, the last 10 to 15 minutes of today's program will be reserved for Q&A with you, our audience. Please submit a question at any time using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will answer as many questions as possible during this time verbally. And finally, at the conclusion of today's program, we will randomly select an attendee who stayed on for the duration of the event to receive a $50 Amazon gift card. Your speaker for today's program is Brian Friedman, Regional Sales Director for the Western U.S. at ISS. Brian recently joined ISS after heading up sales efforts for some of the surveillance industry's most prominent manufacturers for nearly 2 decades. Brian will be joined today by Javier Leon, Regional Engineering Manager for North America at ISS, who will speak to some of the capabilities of our software and hardware products and also address any technical questions as they arise. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Brian. Brian, take it away.
Thank you, Joel. I appreciate it, and welcome everyone, and good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. Before I get going, I just want to talk a little bit about myself, and I know Joel mentioned I recently joined, but 3 really great reasons that I joined this amazing team at ISS. 1, innovation. If you look at any company out there and their technology, we're always innovating, trying to be the leader in the industry. 2, long history of success. Once we kind of go through here and you'll see several slides, we'll talk about some of the successes we've had. And 3, support. So for those 3 main reasons, those are the reasons I joined ISS. And I hope for those same reasons, you'll be so excited to work with us as well. So just a couple of slides here on who we are. We were founded in 1996, a 29-year history. We are a global company based out of New Jersey, 18 offices, 40 plus patents on our technology. Back in 2003, we evolved and came up with one of the first facial recognition softwares, as well as LPR in 2004. Personally, I didn't even know that was around at that time, but pretty exciting that we had that. 600 plus employees with 200 engineers. And I think when you look at that 200 engineers part, we talk about support. We're going to be there to help you with anything you might need. We have deployments in 56 countries across 6 continents, many large deployments, and this number is staggering. 100,000 servers, over 300,000 projects at 7 million plus cameras using our systems. I know probably several of you people on the call today have not heard of ISS, but we're very prominent in South America, Europe, and throughout the world, and looking to do the same thing in the US here. Next slide, please. On this slide, I just want to be able to talk about briefly some of the awards we've gotten. In the last several years, we've had 25 plus awards we've received for our technology and our innovations. I'm proud of the one. It's kind of a small picture there on the bottom right for our under vehicle surveillance system. It's a plate that goes under a vehicle. We're going to talk about it quite a bit more. And like I mentioned before, we are a global company and we see many awards. You can see Saudi Arabia there, over in England. So anyway, a lot of awards for outstanding products. Next slide, please, Joel. So defining video intelligence, I think everyone has their own description of video intelligence or AI the way it is today. We do some things differently compared to our competitors out there. And I like to show this slide. Many years ago and still going on these days, you need a separate system for your cameras, separate system for your telephone, several system for your calculator. And the way we've combined technology today as we mirror cell phones, hit the next slide, Joel, is using our smartphones, obviously, to do the same thing. And technology mirrors the same thing we do on our phones today, right? So this is where we've become, and this is how we define where we are today, where we're able to bring all those technologies into our software to do it all. Next slide, please, Joel. Again, talking about convergence and the system itself and what we do that's different compared to our competitors out there. Many of our competitors have separate systems for analytics, for their access control, for their video. And what we do is we combine everything into one pane of glass or one solution. So you can see here, it's all combined, bringing everything together into one screen to handle everything that we do. Next slide, please, Joel. Again, we talk about convergence. And I think a lot of people don't think about what you're bringing into one platform these days because you see so many monitors in these command centers. So you're able to bring in SCADA, fire alarms, analytics, dashboards for everything that you're doing, situational awareness analytics, building automation. We can bring it all into our system called Secure OS. And by the way, when it says Secure OS, when we talk about your systems being secure, we have the highest level of security on our system itself, right? So next slide, please. Thank you, Joel. All right, defining video intelligence. This is what we do as well. So we use what's called a neural network to establish our analytics. And what that means to you, it's using a mathematical theory to bring in the analytics, to interpret them, to identify the object. And the way we do this is 25 years of history, 25 years of video, so we can easily define these analytics. I just want to mention on top of that as well, we are one of the few companies out there that does customizable analytics. So if you or your customers out there have a special need for an analytic, we can actually do that, right? So just FYI on that. So after we receive the analytic, it comes into the user interface and get the notification. And then it goes into our decision management software, which Javier will talk about a little bit to acknowledge the alarm. And then you get a data stream. And that's the picture on the right there. So lots of information coming from the analytics itself. I think in today's world, everyone talks about AI, but what do you do with AI? And we do it very well, right? So you know that your AI is working, you know that you're receiving the alarms, and you know you're dispatching and acknowledging the alarms. Next slide, Joel. All right. Here we just have a short video on some of our analytics and what we do. All right, so we have more than 50 AI-powered analytics, right? And what we're able to do is show them all on one pane of glass again. We have deployments with those analytics in more than 50 countries and 6 continents and growing. A lot of large counts as well. As we move forward here in the slide, did that stop? Oh, there you go. Thank you, Joel. We have something called Tracking Kit as well, which is, I think, groundbreaking, where you can put 10 analytics on one camera. One of those analytics, like we talked about, is graffiti, where you receive the alerts. It's a lot of graffiti, apparently. We also can check for safety. Is the person wearing a hard hat? Are they wearing their mask? Are they wearing their vest? And you can receive an alert when that person is not wearing that, cutting down your insurance expenses and any bad instances that may happen. And then we also have weapons detection as one of our analytics. Here you can see a gentleman walking into this convenience store with a rifle, and we could identify rifles or pistols, obviously, and get an alert from that as well. We also have facial recognition that is industry leading. It does have something called non-spoofing built in. So if you hold up an image a one pane image, a flat image, it will not read that image. It has to be three-dimensional. And then, of course, we have LPR as well. One thing on that, you see that pop up to 155 miles per hour. It's very powerful as well. And then our UVSS, our under vehicle security system as well, where we have a camera built in where the vehicle will just drive over that device and be able to log that information and search for guns or explosives as well. And you can see the stitch view on the bottom left there. All right, and then the decision management software that we'll talk about briefly in a minute. Javier will go into more detail on that as well, where we can review the information, acknowledge the alarm, come into a command center if needed. And the data, which we talked about as well. How do you use the analytics? You can receive all the data you need for any particular type of analytic. All right, so let's go to the next slide, please. All right, these are just a few of our analytics that we handle through our neural network. We can see their container number recognition, any type of numbering. It could be on the back of an airplane. It could be on a container. It could be on a license plate we can bring in as well. Faces as credential, and I love this, and a lot of our competitors cannot do this, where you can release a door via access control just by using the facial recognition. So we do not need dual authentication. You could just do the single sign-on or the single view of someone's face to open a door and log the event. Very powerful. We do fallen person detection. Slip and falls are huge these days, and they can cost companies millions and millions of dollars. Fight detection, intrusion detection. So if you want to prop a door, get alarms, you can do that. ITS and tolling. So we can get events of cars going through tolls. The LPR, loitering, where you can set the parameters for time when someone's in a particular place. Object left behind, pedestrian safety, people occupancy, where you create parameters for how many people are in a view. Smoking or vape detection, that is built into our system as well. In many cases, you need a third-party device from our competitors, and we do not need that. Vandalism and graffiti, vehicle and train undercarriage anomaly, that's what we talked about with under vehicle surveillance, and then workplace safety. So these are just a few of our analytics. Like I said, 50 plus more analytics we have on our system. Next slide, please, Joel. Yeah, tracking kit, to me, when I joined this company, this just blew me away, where we could put up to 10 analytics on one camera, all at the same time. For example, if you have crowd detection, in that crowd, someone drops something, leaves something behind, or if someone in that crowd is loitering too long, or if someone's running away from that, you can get all those alerts from that one camera. So a very powerful tool, right? And there is mapping associated with that as well. It is highly configurable based on your needs, right? So if you want just loitering, if you want just 5 of those analytics, if you want 2 of those analytics, it's completely up to you on what you want to have on your tracking kit. Very powerful. Next slide, Joel. Thank you. Slips and falls. Again, these are 2 slides. And again, we talk about slip and falls costing companies millions and millions of dollars. And in many cases, you know that they're not necessarily true. People are saying they slip and fell, but they're not. So here you can see that in the left video, you're showing somebody walking back and she falls, and you can see the box turn red, and we will get that alert. It will go to your software, and you'll get that alert, and you'll be able to follow up on that as well. Next video, Joel. And again, here we have the guns detection. This is over 99.5% accurate. You can see it's a rifle there. And again, this is just, we didn't talk about, this is just a software license. So it's not a separate license fee, an astronomical license fee, just a one-time license for this. All right. Next slide, Joel. All right, a few more video clips here. Loitering is one. Again, and we can create the parameters for how long that person or vehicle will be in that view. This happens to be one of our engineers trying to steal his own car. So you can see the box lit up red there. He was in the view for, I believe, 30 seconds before we got the alarm. So loitering is another big one. On the right side here, on this next clip, again, this is another key differentiator. A lot of our competitors don't have this. Hands up. So why is that gentleman raising his hands and tripping the alert, right? So if someone puts their hands up, it can trigger an alert as well. Again, these analytic alerts are completely customizable. So you could set this up for firearms, you could set it for hands up, you could set it up for running if the guy's running away as well. Very good, Joel. Next slide, please. So it says here 2 decades of global success, FaceX. I think if you compare our facial recognition, and I've seen at the previous company facial recognition before, we've been doing this for 28 years, right? So a long time evolving this product. It is almost 100% accurate. I recently spoke to somebody at our company where they set it up at a school 5 years ago for 9th graders. And 5 years later, when these kids basically became adults and their faces changed, it was 100% accurate. So very powerful. It does have what's called, again, anti-spoofing built in. So if someone's holding up a picture of their face or of a face, it's not going to care about that. You check a box and it's going to pull up the anti-spoofing. It has to be a 3-dimensional object. So that's how it works. And like I mentioned before, this is amazing technology for using as access control as well. 100% accurate at opening doors. Next slide, Joel. Thank you. How powerful is Secure OS? So we hear a lot about drones these days. I mean, everywhere, good, bad, otherwise, we hear about drones. And we actually have the capability to put our analytics, facial recognition, and LPR on drones as well. So I don't know too many companies that are doing this, but we have proven, and we've done this before. So if you have an application for drones using facial recognition or any analytics, we can do it. Next slide, Joel. Thank you. So to dive into these next 2 slides, the live event manager and the unifier, I'm going to have Javier, our great engineer, who happens to be in Mexico City today, enjoying the weather there, talk about what we can do here. Thank you, Javier.
Thank you, Brian. So what we can see here, guys, is basically the interface that we use to show every single analytic that Brian was describing before. We are capable to display the information here in our event manager. So what happens is that you will be able to see the camera related, the name of the camera, the time, and the specific analytic that was triggered. So when you click on the specific event, you will be able to see back in time the video at the moment when the alert was triggered. So in this case, we are showing a fight. It's not a real fight, guys, but basically it's showing exactly at the moment where detected by the system. And I will say this is our event manager. It comes with the basic functionalities. You can search per camera, you can search for a specific analytic as well. And of course, you can filter using time, using zones as well, and also events. Go to the next slide, Joe, please. And this is basically the event manager, but with asteroids. Basically, we call Secure Dispatcher. This is a better solution where you can even record every single incident from the alerts that we are continuously generated by Securus. So the benefits of that is that you can customize an incident response. So every time that an operator hits the alert, you will be able to see what exactly they need to do. If they need to call someone, if they need to escalate that event, if they need to go in the specific area to double check something, right? So they can, all the alerts that they are getting from Securus, they will be able to see exactly what they need to do. And also, it will, the system by itself, it will show how to manage properly the incident. Also, the benefit is the real-time monitoring. So if you have multiple systems connected to one single platform, through Securos MCC, you will be able to interconnect all the events and get it in one single point, all the alerts. Also, the operators will be able to hear any alert that the system is triggering. They can also schedule maintenance windows, and also they can delegate the alerts. And all the processes are easily customized. We have a specific area where you can describe exactly what they need to do with every specific alert. Let's go to the next slide, Joe. And I'll be back to you, Ryan.
I appreciate that, Javier. And Joel, if you can just go back to the last slide, I'm sorry. Thank you. Is that possible? Thank you. Yeah, so I want to just mention, kind of recapping what Javier talked about. And this is something we do compared to our competitors out there. Because if customers are paying for analytics, what do you do with those analytics? And I think this is very important to get that live streaming of the analytic alert, hold somebody accountable for seeing that alert, right? And then acknowledge and dispatch from all that information, I think is incredibly powerful. Whether it's an operator at a desk or a command center or remote guard that you're paying for, this is a really powerful tool, and it holds everybody accountable for those analytic alerts. Why invest in analytics if you're not being accountable and showing what you could do with them? Thank you, Joel. Next slide, please. So just to talk about one case study, and this is a monster of a case study, 6 command centers throughout Mexico City itself. All law enforcement, fire, emergency services are managed through C5. That happens to be their command centers, and Secure OS, right? Secure OS is our VMS, or as we call it, our VMM, Video Management Module, because we can use other competitors' VMSs as well. We didn't talk about this, like Genetec and Milestone. We are completely integrated with their platforms as well. We also, I didn't talk about this before either, we are agnostic on the camera side. So we don't care about the cameras. We do have some special cameras we'll talk about, but we are completely agnostic. So going back to Mexico City, 1,000 plus LPR cameras, 1,000 plus facial cameras, 2,500 tracking kit systems. I mean, think about how huge that is, right? 2,500 analytics coming into their command center. 30 medical assistants, 13,000 remote information kiosks, 13,000 speakers for mass notifications, all coming into Secure OS throughout the whole city. So Javier, I know you're in Mexico City. Have you seen any of the cameras out there or anything we've done, just out of curiosity?
Yes, Brian. Actually, here in Mexico City, you can see the cameras like in every single corner. I would like to say every single corner, but it's probably like a 2 or 3 blocks. You will see like a camera, a PTC camera, and also here in Mexico we have a lot of earthquakes, so we have even integration with that system. So the camera comes with a speaker that is triggering when an earthquake is detected. So the city here is also notified that an event like that is coming to Mexico City. But everything is integrated with Securos, and yes, I've been seeing some license plate recognition cameras as well. And also I had the opportunity to visit the C5, which I was able to see 60 operators working at the same time with no issues.
Wow. That's incredible. Thank you, Javier. That's really informative. So when you talk about enterprise solutions and large deployments, we can do small and obviously very large as well. So this is a great testament to one of our largest deployments. Next slide, Joel, please. So specialized hardware, like I mentioned before, we do have specific cameras, not a ton of different kinds, but very specific to our analytics. On the left side there, we're just showing an installation of one of our LPR cameras. Again, we have 3 different modules for LPR, one for the standard up to 25 miles an hour, one going up to 65, and that one there they're showing goes up to 155 miles an hour. I don't know where anyone would have a chance to go 155, but it would be good information to find out. So that's one of the cameras we have. The one in the middle there, this is unbelievable to me. This is our UVSS, under vehicle surveillance system. There is a camera built into that plate. It is a wide angle camera. it stitches the view under the vehicle to get the entire view. And again, it detects explosives, any type of weapon. And at the same time, you get an LPR read on the plate going through. So picture a truck going through the border and going over one of these plates, right? When it comes back over the border, because we've registered that LPR, that plate, it will look for an anomaly. It will remember the previous view. And if there's any type of change, any type of container, any type of modification under the truck itself, we will get an alert. So again, this is very powerful and no one else does this. So really phenomenal type of camera and phenomenal software. Next slide, please, Joel. Again, this is just what we talked about. And again, I think this is an amazing differentiator for us. This was one of our case studies at the World Cup recently as well for the government that was running the software. It was globally, this product has been globally proven. This is, by the way, manufactured in Florida at our manufacturing plant. It's simple installation and maintenance. If you pick up this plate, it is extremely heavy. You cannot dent it. And it is, like I said, AI-based detection for foreign objects. So it is searching for changes in the view, and it is full color HD. And that last point again, I love this automatic comparison of undercarriage image with the reference image. How much time could it save? I don't know if anybody's been to a government building recently where it was you had to go through a gate, but they have a little mirror. They look under your vehicle, right? What good is that? So what this does, it actually looks through the image and looks for changes and looks for those anomalies. Next slide, Joel. With that being said, that's a quick overview of what we have to offer. And if it's okay, Joel, I'm going to open it up to questions.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you, Brian. Sorry about that. I had a little glitch on my computer here. As Brian mentioned, we've reached the time in today's program for Q&A. Again, you can submit a question using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And we've had a few, Brian, roll in throughout the course of the presentation today. I think one of the first ones we'll take here, this question came in. Brian, what is the difference between traditional analytics and these newer neural network trained AI-driven video intelligence capabilities? Can you kind of walk us through what the difference is there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been doing this in the industry quite a while. When analytics came out, and some companies are still doing this, you've heard the wording, the camera has to learn the image, or the analytic has to learn. I was working at a manufacturer where you had to have 1,200 images come into the view first before it learned how to do any type of analytic. With our neural network learning, because we've had such a long history of analytics, we're able to use existing images to evolve that, so we do not have to learn the scenes. That's the number one most important thing. Number two, when you look at how efficient, how accurate the analytics are, they have evolved tremendously. I think if you compare us to some of the competitors out there, we are over 99% accurate. So if you're looking at analytics where you're not going to have those false alarms, I think you'll find that ISS really offers the best solution as well. Javier, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yes, Brian, I think from the technical standpoint, I've been working with this company 11 years ago. So I've been noticed all the changes that we have done. And before we have some of our analytics working with the, I would say pixel comparison, right? So if you want to detect something, we were able to do it at a pixel level. Right now, using AI technology, it's even, it's more accurate, I would say, what we are giving you as part of the analytic results. So one of the case that we do right now, I will speak about a combination of both. For example, our license plate recognition, we are using AI to detect vehicles and also the AI to detect the license plate. Once we know where is the license plate, we run our OCR which the OCR is well known as part of any of the old analytics that is capable to recognize letters, right? So I would say at that case, with the combination of both, we are giving a very good product, the license plate recognition, and that's it. I think it's better to use AI analytics, and I think at this time we are not planning to use AI, for example, an OCR with an AR, because that part is already solved with the previous version of the analytics. But for some cases, I know that, for example, the letter Q could be confused with the letter O. Sometimes for those cases, we are planning to use that an AI analytics. So, but that's basically my experience working with both.
Thank you, Javier. I appreciate it. Next question, Joel.
Another one that came in, Brian. What would you say are some of the realistic capabilities of video intelligence today, and what is just hype? You know, there's obviously a lot of vendors out there making a lot of different claims with regards to accuracy and capability. So what's fact versus science fiction, and what really differentiates ISS in that regard?
I mean, Javier, you've been here 11 years. You want to jump on that one, and I'll give you some input after that?
Sure. No, yes. So basically, all this time, guys, I think we've been doing every time the result faster. And I think I've been noticed that with facial recognition. Basically, we are capable to identify a person in less than 500 milliseconds. So I know specific the number because we are using facial recognition to open turnstiles, right? Allow people to enter. So at that time, we wanted to make sure that the person do not stop in front of the turnstile. So we have to really measure the timing on how long the system will take to detect the face and even being recognized. So all that time and sending the signal into the access control takes less than 500 milliseconds. So I will say that's super fast. Nobody is capable to do that. And also another thing, we can recognize 7 different faces in less than 1 second. So you can think on use cases like metro subways, stadiums, where you can really need a really good product to detect or identify people. So I think that's gonna be one of our main highlights.
Yeah, I agree. And just to add to that, Javier, is that I think that's a really good question, because so many people are talking about analytics and AI these days, and a lot of companies are trying to do that. My feeling is you have to look at accuracy. You have to look at the first point I brought up when I started this webinar today, long history of success. Doing facial recognition going back to 1996. It's evolved. It's very accurate. I think you just have to look at the quality of the video, the quality of the analytic, and the results, right? Next question, Joel.
Well, that's actually it from our audience. So yeah, want to just to close up everything here. I want to thank everyone who attended today's program, and I want to thank obviously you, Brian, and Javier, for sharing all of your insights on our various analytics and our different capabilities. Great, well-rounded presentation from you guys. And also, just to close things out here with the drawing for the $50 Amazon gift card, that will be going to Amir Nan. Amir will be reaching out to you shortly after today's webinar to get that gift card to you. Again, I want to thank all of you again, all the attendees, Brian, Javier. To learn more about ISS and our portfolio of our various solutions, you can visit issivs.com, or you can reach out to us via email at info@issivs.com. Thanks again.